What is up, everybody? Smokey here with another review. This time we are doing Curse of Chucky. Now, Curse of Chucky, if you didn't know, they took a hiatus from 2005 to, or no, 2004 to 2013, so almost 11 years. Because See Ya Chucky was a big flop. Who would have thought? I mean, just look at my review of it. And they took a break, which is understandable, and they just didn't want to do it or deal with it. I'm not sure what Don Mancini was doing movie wise in between the Chucky movies because that's the only thing I know he's done. And they finally, I remember when teasers were coming out for this movie, they were teasing it here and there, and then boom, it finally happened. Curse of Chucky, which was a back to basics Chucky movie. I was in third grade when this one came out, and it's not terrible. I know I do not like the doll. I remember seeing trailers for it, and I'm like, that doesn't look like Chucky. And even at the end, when they reveal, he's still got the stitched up face and stuff, but they just covered it. It still doesn't look like Chucky. He just looks too fat, in my opinion. And he can't say that word anymore because of how people are nowadays, but he does. He just looks like he's too chunky. And he doesn't look as scary. Like, at least with Seed and definitely Bride, they tried to make, the stitched up Chucky look gruesome. This one just really doesn't. And the story's okay. It is cool to see Brad Dourif's daughter in it, and plus what she's done with like the Chucky TV show and stuff. It's crazy to think. Like, yeah, she gets the short end of the stick out of any Chucky protagonist. I mean, Andy got a short end stick, but what happens to her, I think, is actually in the long run worse than whatever happened to Andy. Like what all happens to him. And except for what happens to him with the Colonel. That's a little crazy, but I can't talk about that on YouTube, I don't think. If you've seen the show, you know what I'm talking about. Um, but Nika gets the short end of the stick, and it's cool to see her performances when she portrays her dad. I know Brad's last time playing Charles, I believe, was actually in this movie. Because there's flashbacks, and even though we learn more about said flashback in the TV show, that I'm not gonna spoil until I go and do an actual my whole thoughts on the TV show, which will come out at some point. Um, but yeah, it's just it might just be a bonus thing I do on the Chucky um co- uh, compilation I'm doing. But yeah, so this movie's not that bad. The plot's a little bad. Her older sister, like, okay, so I didn't have a brother in a wheelchair, but I have an autistic brother. And her sister, talks so much shit and talks down to her so much, saying, well, you can't do this, you can't do that, all because you're crippled. We need to get you out of this house. It's not wheelchair accessible. My Pepsis. I don't. Hold on a minute. I have to. Sorry about that. I started watching Cult before I realized, hey, I hadn't done this video yet. But, yeah, so we never stopped my brother from trying to do something. If he wanted to try it, we did. Let him try it. If we can't figure it out, we explain it, and he usually get a hang of it. Nothing has ever stopped my brother from doing something. So I don't think you should treat people with disabilities like, well, you can't do this because you're disabled. This is how I grew up. I always, I support my brother for the most part. There's a couple times I don't support him. it's when he's not thinking thoroughly on something. We even try to explain it to him, and he just does what he wants. But yeah, this movie's not that terrible. I mean, it's a shame of what happens with Alice, but the characters really ain't that memorable. Besides the priest, I've seen him in a couple other things. I remember the first time seeing him was in this. I go, "Hey, that's the priest from Chucky." And my dad's like, "Huh?" I go, "Where's the Chucky?" And Dad could look up and goes, "Why do you know that?" It's like, that's what I've seen him in. But yeah, I know this movie, this is more me just talking about examples of other stuff than the review of this one. There's really not that much to say. The setting's kind of bland. They don't really leave the house. And I think that's, from what I remember of Cult, like I said, I'm going back and watching it now. There wasn't a lot I enjoyed about Cult either. I'm gonna watch it. see if I can prove myself wrong, and then I'm gonna rewatch the um my review of the remake and rewatch the remake and see if my stuff still stands the same on that. And if it's different, I will do an updated review. But other than that, it's pretty much it. Like, comment, share, subscribe. See you guys next time. Peace.